सतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्युर्मा अमृतं गमय आविराविर्मयेधि ओम शांति 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 हरि ओम। पशुवधमतिघोरं चोदितं वेदशास्त्रैः शमयितुमवतीर्णं ज्ञानदं शाक्यसिंहं प्रकटितनवमार्गाद्वैतनिर्वाणकल्पं विमलपरमहंसं रामकृष्णं भजामः। बुद्धं शरणं गच्छामि, संघं शरणं गच्छामि, धर्मं शरणं गच्छामि। So on this Thursday we have Buddha Purnima. So I thought it is better to thought about and meditate on Bhagavan Buddha. So the meaning that we chanted, may we be protected, may we be nourished, may we strive with energy and vigor, may our study be enlightening and not give rise to hostility. Om peace, peace, peace. Lead us to truth and not to untruth. Lead us to enlightenment, not ignorance. Lead us to immortality and not death. Let the self-manifest Atman grow in me. Om peace, peace, peace. Sri Ramakrishna, here Swami Abhedanandaji composed this verse. He said it is Sri Ramakrishna, that means the same God who has manifested to stop Pashubadh. That time the lots of animals were killed because of the yajnas, offering to the yajnas. To stop that and also to lead a life which is Shamaytum Avatirnam. So he descended from his higher abode to give us knowledge in the form of Shakya Singham, that means Bhagavan Buddha. Prakatita Navamargadvaita Nirvana Kalpam. So he established a new way of living, which is nirvana, cessation of all the desires and establishing oneself in non-dual self. Such Shakya Singham, I offer my pranam, who is Sri Ramakrishna himself, Bimala Paramahamsam, Supreme Swan, who is pure and perfect. I offer my pranams. And the three Sharana is very important in Buddhism, and for that matter, for us also, Buddham Sharanam Gacchami. That means ideal. We must contemplate ideal, and we take refuge at that ideal. I go to the Buddha as my refuge. I go to the Dharma as my refuge. I go to the Sangha as my refuge. So these are three Sharana. To start with, we can contemplate a little of life as we know, a very quick recapitulation. So there is a place called Kapilavastu, and now it is in India, and Lumbini, which is in Nepal. So Maya Devi was traveling and she gave birth to a child whom the name was given Siddhartha, who is whatever he contemplates and whatever he resolves, he attains that. Siddhartha. So his father's name was Suddhadana, Shuddhadana. And as we know that at his birth, an astrologer came and predicted that either he will become a Chakravarti, that means an emperor, or a great yogi. So Shuddhadana tried to stop that, and he got him married early and also arranged all the amenities for his enjoyment. But as things happened, that once he went to outside and saw outside of the palace and saw an old man, and that day he saw an ailing man, and another day he saw a dead body. And when every time when he asked why it happens so the charioteer replied that this is the all embodied being becomes old, and also sometimes or other they get sick also, and one day they have to depart from this world, leaving this body. And the fourth day he saw a serene person, and he was walking and his face was full of light. And then he came to know that he is a monk. He renounced the world and dedicated his life to search what is the truth. So he was very contemplative right from his birth, and he thought about it. If this is the case and this is suffering, then I must find a way to go beyond it. So that is why he decided to leave his house. By that time he had a son also, and he could understand that this is the bondage, but I must go out, otherwise I cannot find the path, true path. And when he left his home, he tried many ways. He fasted, he did japam, etc. Many things he did, but he did not succeed. Lastly, he went to one place called Uruvela. Now it is called Bodh Gaya, Uruvela. That's now in Bihar. And there he resolved, Ihasane shushatu me shariram tagastimamsam. Let this body dry away, and whatever it happens, may it happen, but I will not leave this asana till I get Bodh. And he sat down under a Bodhi tree, a people tree. Actually, that's why it is named Bodhi, because he got enlightenment. And he got enlightenment on Vaishak Purnima, full moon day of Vaishak. That's why it is, he was born on that day. He got enlightenment on that day, on Vaishak Purnima, and also he passed away, Mahaparinirvana, on that very day. So that's why it is called thrice blessed day. So anyway, there he resolved, and as we know that he was tempted by Mar means his desires. But he stood all the temptations and he got enlightenment. After that he went to Mrigadava. Mrigadava is in Varanasi, where he first preached to 5 people. Dharma Chakra Pravartana. Dharma chakra means the wheel of dharma, righteousness. He started that. So pravartana means starting. And there what he said? There he said, now this bhikkhus is the noble truth of suffering. Birth is suffering, aging is suffering, illness is suffering, death is suffering. Union with what is displeasing is suffering. Separation from what is pleasing is suffering. Not to get what one wants is suffering. In brief, the five aggregates subject to clinging are suffering. So this is all our experiences. We also suffer. And we suffer and we stop. But he analyzed. He was a scientist. And what is this? What is this? What is this world? So he found dukkham, dukkham, sarvam dukkham. Everything is full of suffering. And it is said, sarvam dukkham vai vivekinaha. For a discriminating person, everything is suffering. Whatever we say joy, for a discriminating person, that is also suffering. Apparent joy, or that we once experienced, hankering for that, craving for that, that's also suffering. So many kinds of suffering, many kinds of, at least 10 kinds of cravings that they have discovered. So this suffering that we experience every day, we want that whatever I say that should be obeyed, that should be admitted. Whatever I want that should be readily available, why it is not there? This is our experience all the time. So suffering is there. And now this bhikkhus is the noble truth of the origin of suffering. It is this craving. He said tanha, trishna actually. Trishna in Pali it is called tanha, trishna. Trishna, desire. Desire for name and fame, desire for progeny, desire for resources. So from the Sanatana standpoint, eternal religion, Sanatana Dharma, we say 3 kinds of trishna. What are those? Name and fame. First resources. We want money and all kinds of resources. Then we want to leave our name behind. That's another kind of trishna. So, should we not have all those things? In the beginning, one should proceed to achieve those, but one should not bound there. In the Vedas, we find that first one should acquire those things, but one should not bound for that. That whatever is the social order, one should fulfill. But one should not get enmeshed, entangled there. So this, he said, now this bhikkhus is the noble truth of the origin of suffering. So there is a cause. There is suffering and there is a cause for that. What is that cause? Craving. Tanha, trishna. There some examples are given. Like a dog. Dog chews a bone and it is only a bone. But it enjoys that in the hope that something will come out of it. And now, the modern people, they didn't understand the even psychology of dog, so they make plastic bones. So it is happy to chew that. At least maybe they also do some exercise for that. So we are also tempted to chew this bone of this world, and we want to enjoy this. So this craving is the cause which leads to re-becoming. Like what we are not, that we want to become. Accompanied by delight. See what happens when we are possessed by a desire. We no more the same person. See a child. Child is not tainted by any desire. Or whatever comes, it goes away. But what happens within us? It creates, like lots of twists and turns. And not only that, if you put iron from one side, the other side it will become a screw. So this is entanglement. But so what happens? We become something else. What we are not what we originally are. So accompanied by delight and lust. Seeking delight here and there. Not only this place. That's why nitya anitya vastu viveka iha mutra phalabhog virag. That means one should relinquish enjoyment here in this world and also hereafter, after leaving this world. So this is the craving, accompanied by delight and lust. So what happens when we are craving for something? So what happens? We unsettled ourselves. Say, I want something. Say, I want a latest laptop. So first I unsettle myself. What I am not, I soaked with desire. And naturally mind loses its peace. So, like for general public, should we do that? At least what we can do, at least we can mentally renounce. Okay, I have this need of this thing. Let it come if Mother or God wills. So that way he will not be like soaked with desire. But as far as it is possible, one should get rid of it, because this is the source of our suffering. One should assess oneself and try to get rid of it gradually. So that becomes re-becoming. Accompanied by delight and lust, seeking delight here and there. That is, craving for sensual pleasures, craving for becoming, craving for disbecoming. So we want something and also we want to live that. So this is, all wants are not good. That means something extra, something what we are not. So this is the cause. Now the third is, now this bhikkhus is the noble truth of the cessation of suffering. It is the remainderless fading away and cessation of that same craving, the giving up and relinquishing of it, freedom from it, non-reliance on it, not depending on it. So there is suffering, there is cause of suffering, and this suffering can be removed. If we just try, it can be removed. So not to depend on it, not to rely on it. So naturally, if we don't rely, things will come. It is not that, if someone works, he will not get his salary. He will get salary. But if he is craving for more and more, he may not succeed. So this is, it can be, say, it can be relinquished. So this is the cessation. And then he finally says that now this bhikkhus is the noble truth of the way leading to the cessation of suffering. It is this noble eightfold path that is right view, right intention, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, right concentration. So these are, samya ditti. Samya ditti means samyak. We see, everybody sees. But one should see the truth. In this world, truth and falsity is mixed up. As we see light and shade is visible. We see light, we see shade also. So this, similarly, we can see what is real, what is not real, what is permanent, what is impermanent. But what happens, we try to avoid seeing non-permanent things. Why? To fulfill our desire. But we know it is impermanent. But still we want to bluff ourselves to show that it is permanent. Okay, otherwise how can I survive? Say truthfulness. Sometimes a situation comes when one thinks that if I tell a little lie, not only I'll be saved, but I'll get something more. So he tells lie. But this is not seeing properly. That is why in Vedanta we say, Nitya Nitya Vastu Viveka. There must be discrimination. Seeing properly. Samya Ditti, Drishti. Seeing properly. So mind should be analyzing. Mind should see what is right, what is wrong. Then comes right intention. And many times we camouflage our intention and we say something which is not what we want. This is, again, it goes against truth. So removing all such camouflage, that is important. Right intention. Then right speech. So we perform work in three ways. One is physically we work. We also work mentally. We plan. We think about pros and cons. What happens if I do this? What will happen if I don't do? And also, we work through our speech, our speaking. So this right speech should be there. That means whatever I think, that should come out from my mouth. So that is right speech. It is not that mon mukh ek kara. Sri Ramakrishna would say that it is expressing or unifying mind and mouth. Whatever is in mind, that should come out. But what happens? We camouflage because of social calling, because maybe so many things. And we are we are like, that politicians. There is some intention, but they say some other thing. So, one should avoid such things. So, right speech. And it should be truthful. It should be pleasant. Satyam briyat, priyam briyat. Ma briyat, satyam apriyam. Whatever is truth, one should speak. But it is not to hurt others. That also is included here. So, satyam briyat, priyam briyat. Whatever is pleasing. Pleasing means not that it will soothe, but it is not antagonistic. Mahabriyat satyam apriyam. If the truth is antagonistic or it will bring some harm, then it is better not to speak. So one should know where to stop speaking. But what happens? We speak, keep on speaking. And we are so fluent, we speak whatever is not relevant, that also we speak. So right speech and then right action. Right action, whatever we think, that should be translated into action. So Sri Bhagavan Buddha, he was against any killing, and that is why he offered his own flesh for a hawk. And there are so many Jataka stories. There you can find lots of sacrifices that he made in his previous life. So right action, because that leads, whatever we think, that similarly we do, and that becomes a samskara. And samskara propels our next action. Therefore, we also act whatever we think. Then right livelihood. For living we must have some occupation, we must have some resource generating avenue. So for that also it should be, it's not taking bribe or any advantage from others, like that. So that right livelihood. Right effort. And effort also should be right. It should be planned, it should be well planned and executed properly. Right effort. See, like thinking also, sometimes we think our thoughts are muddled. We think incoherently. But we have to think properly, and it must have an orientation. So then, right mindfulness. So here, people think that Bhagavan Buddha negated everything. But when we say mindfulness, that means we understand that he did not negate the existence. Though later people interpreted that when it was asked Bhagavan Buddha, is there God? So he said, have I said that there is God? Oh, it means that there is no God? Have I said that there is no God? So this way he avoided such questions because it has no meaning. People generally ask, what is your experience? What have you experienced in your life? It is irrelevant. If someone says, okay, I have realized God, mentally he'll think it's bluffing. So it is irrelevant, but we ask such questions. That is why Bhagavan Buddha avoided such questions. But people thought, because he's silent, so there should not be any God. What he said, that first remove, if he gave example, suppose an arrow has come and hit you or any animal. So will you calculate who has thrown it and what was the speed, how it came and how it hurt? rather you'll try to remove the suffering. So better try to remove the suffering, you'll understand whether there is God or no God. So all these, so right mindfulness. So that means attention should be there. Generally what happens? We either think of past and suffer, or we plan for future, and many times our goals are so high that we cannot achieve, and we suffer. But it is better to think of the present time. So that's mindfulness, right mindfulness, right concentration. It is to concentrate on one object, one idea. So right concentration, that's samadhi. So these are eightfold path that Bhagavan Buddha prescribed. One thing that now concluding, there is suffering and there is samudaya. Samudaya, that means there is a cause. It happens one after another. So there is origin and there is source arising from and coming to existence, and that aggregate of constituent elements or factors of any being or existence. So cluster, that means there is a samudaya. Samudaya means there is a sequence. It comes one by another, one after another. So this is origin, like a pratitta samutpada. Pratitta samutpada, how it happens. So as of now, we understand that if we analyze ourselves, that we do not know ourselves. We know ourselves as something else. So not knowing suffering, so many people even don't know that they are suffering. A little enjoyment of sense enjoyment that they consider that is all that is to be achieved in this world. So even people are not aware of their knowing, and not knowing the origination of suffering. What is the origin? How it happened? Where it came from? And not knowing the cessation of suffering, that it is possible that it can be removed. So this also is our ignorance. As of now, as we think about it, and not knowing the way of practice leading to the cessation of suffering. So this ignorance we have. We don't know origin, we don't know, we are suffering first. There is no sense that we are suffering really. Till we are, we have disease or old age, and we have hampered movement, restriction in movement, then we come to know, oh, I am suffering. But actually before that also we are suffering. Ignorance is itself suffering. When we do not know, itself is suffering. And if we do not know where it is coming from, what is the cause, that is another kind of suffering. And if we do not know the remedy, so first is if we don't know what disease I am suffering from, so this is one kind of suffering. And is there a remedy also? If I don't know at all, that means it cannot be removed. So that suffering also is included here. And not knowing the way of practice leading to the cessation of suffering. So all aggregated, this is called ignorance. How it has come? So this is the cause. Now, if we try to understand how it has happened, so it is because of our previous samskara, previous practices, sankhara, they say. These three are fabrications So bodily fabrication, that is, we have bodily samskara, we have some practices, like sometimes verbal tic, sometimes we have we move our limbs, all kinds of samskaras are there. It is because of our previous practice. Then verbal fabrications like verbal tic, then mental fabrication. We have particular way of thinking. We don't think straight. We have crooked thinking, muddled thinking. So this kind of uh, is because of our previous practices. So the best way to come out of it is to practice truthfulness, straightforwardness, and at least watchfulness. Then when we watch, many things are solved. Just we should give a little time, and then we can see that things get resolved by itself. At least not to meddle. Many times we meddle unintentionally or intentionally. Now this happens because we see something, we perceive something. That is why we interact. That's called vijnana. Vijnana, consciousness or discernment, sense consciousness. Say we are driving, so first we see a car is coming from the other side. So when we perceive that, then only we react. So whatever happens, it is, or samskaras has happened because of senses or awareness. Awareness of senses. So sixfold of sensual perception. So through eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and skin, and also mind, also mentally. So in Vedanta also we say even mind is sixth sense. Now when we sense, what we sense? We sense name and form. Oh, this is a car is coming, or a truck is coming, or this is a tree, or this is a human being. And name and form, that we sense. So when it comes in contact, so Bhagavan Sri Krishna says, so Vishaya, Indriya, when they come, Vishaya means object, and senses, when they come in contact, then only we have this perception. So feeling also, mental feeling, that also is, it was not there. Then I felt anger, or I felt miserable. So this feeling also is a kind of form, name and form, nama rupa. And then then contact, intention, contact, attention. We get somebody's attention, or say, hello, how are you? Then we respond. So this, see how he organized, how he thought about it properly. That because of something happening, then we perceive that. If someone is coming in my front, then we see him. Sensation happens because of this name and form. So that is the cause of vijnana. Vijnana is sensation. Now how this name and form has come? It is because of Sharayatana. That means 6 sense bases, sense sources or sense media. So because of that we have sensation. Though it happens automatically, but these are the cause. So he is going to how samudaya, how things happen. Say in the morning we get up, First we don't know, ajnana. Then we have, because of our previous samskar, we start seeing this world. Oh, this is my room, this is my this and this. Oh, he's my friend, he's my foe. Or this is food we have to eat. Or I have to go to office, all these kind of things. So it is because of the previous samskara. That happens because of vijnana. Because we know, we have senses. And why it happens? Because name and form. And how those name and forms are perceived? It's because of six senses or sense bases. So we say indriyas, 5 sense organs, and mind. And then why it comes? Because there is a contact of sense objects with senses. When I open my eyes, then only I can see. When I put my attention, then I can hear, even chirping of bird. Generally we don't hear, but as we put our attention, now we can see, we can hear. So it is because of our attention. So it is called sparsha, senses, sparsha or contact. So how that happens? Because it is of sensation, feeling, sensation. So the impulses come, and impulses are felt. Then we interpret. If I see someone, oh, he's my friend, 10 years old acquaintance, or say red color. So we interpret within ourselves. So when it comes in contact with us, then only we sense it. So it's called Vedana. Vedana means sense it. Now why we do this? It is because of craving, desire. So if I am hungry, so I'll seek food. And if I am hungry for name and fame, then I'll do such work. So that's called Trishna, Tanha, Trishna. Now, Trishna comes because of some upadana, some matters. And that happens because of grasping. I get it, I catch it, sustain it, and attach it with myself. And that happens because of bhava. Bhava means existence, becoming, constitution, continuation, bhava. So it flows like a river. So experiences also flow. And that happens because of various categories, jati. And also this happens, all these experiences happens because of our actions and the reaction. And that's why we get birth, death, this cycle goes on. And also aging, jara, marana, aging or decay and death. So this is the whole sequence, how this happens. We can start from below also. Because we experience old age and death, etc. Therefore, what is the cause of this? It is of rebirth. Because of rebirth we go. And it is because of bhava, becoming. Why it becomes? Because it is a upadana. There are some upadanas. And gradually we come to that Trishna. It is because of Trishna. So we even go from lower and identify the higher. Ultimately we will find it is ajnana. I should not repeat once again. But this way we are to find out what is the cause of this world. What is the cause of birth and rebirth? So it is Based on karma, whatever we do, that we reap. Whatever we sow, that we reap. So, this is the sequence, and because of that, we have birth, rebirth. So, this is whatever, this is in short. So, this one can go beyond. How? For samya samadhi, that means for right meditation. That's in Upanishad that is said that paranchikhani vetrina swayambhu tasmat parang pashyati nantaratma. So those who are desirous of exploring his own self, he identifies, or they identify, that these senses always tend to go out. Therefore, he closes his eyes. Eyes means all the senses. Then only we stop all the bhava, jati, and upadana, and vijnana, even to know that there is something. And gradually one should meditate in oneself. Paranchikhani vetrina swayambhu tasmat parang pashyati nantaratman. Kaschid dhiraha pratyagatmanam ikchat avritta chakshu amritattam icchan. So they close their eyes and contemplate what is the origin, and they find it is now covered in ajnana. So to remove that ajnana is the cause of cessation. That is why one should meditate, one should try to find out his own self. And that is why our gurus have given a mantra, a chosen ideal, and concentrating on him or her, one gets rid of this ajnana. So this is what his teaching, these are all his teachings. So first, Four Noble Truth, that there is dukkha, there is cause of dukkha, and there is that cause can be removed, cessation of that causes, and the marga, eightfold marg. So, what one should give, one should do. Give charity to the deserving. These are good karma. By doing good karma, one gets rid of bad karma. Observe the precepts of morality. Cultivate and develop good thoughts. Render service and attend on others. Honor and nurse parents and elders. Give a share of your merits to others. Accept the merits that others give you. Hear the doctrine of righteousness. Preach the doctrine of righteousness. Rectify your faults. So these are various teachings. There are many teachings. So let us think about now what Sri Ramakrishna thought about him. So I'll read from the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. It happened that Swami Vivekananda went to Buddha Gaya. All of a sudden, because he was charged with renunciation, so he went there with Kali. Kali also, Kali means Swami Abhidanandji Maharaj. And when he returned, then they interacted with Sri Ramakrishna, so I am reading from that. Master, do you know what Buddha means? It is to become one with Bodha. It is not total cessation, like people say that everything should be negated. But Sri Ramakrishna tells the the gist of it. So he says, do you know what Buddha means? It is to become one with Bodha. Bodha means consciousness, awareness, prajna. And that's why they have a prajna paramita stotra. So it is not negation of all. It is affirmation in one's own being. So become one with Bodha, pure intelligence, by meditating on that which is of the nature of pure intelligence. Pure intelligence. And Sri Ramakrishna said in other places that pure intellect, pure mind, and pure self, one and same thing. So, that which is of the nature of pure intelligence, it is to become pure intelligence itself. So Buddha means who has attained that Bodha. Now Narendra, yes sir, there are 3 classes of Buddhas: Buddha, Arhat and Bodhisattva. Bodhisattva means who have that capacity, and in course of time they will be Buddha. And Master, this too is a sport of God Himself, a new Leela of God. It is not that Buddha denied God, but he encouraged people to be that, be and become. So Sri Ramakrishna says, this too is a sport of God Himself. It is not that it is antagonistic to God. Rather, this is another kind of Leela, a new Leela of God. And that time, because the Vedic rituals were prevalent so much that people were engaged in big yajnas and also killing of animals. So to remove that, this new path was open to the people. Why should Buddha be called an atheist? When one realizes Swarupa, Swarupa means one's own real self. So Sri Ramakrishna says, why should Buddha be called an atheist? When one realizes Swarupa, the true nature of one's self, one attains a state that is something between asti and nasti. Asti nasti moddhe. That means it is in between existence and non-existence. It cannot be said it exists, it cannot be said it does not exist. Say we also can experience in our deep sleep what happens. Do you exist or you don't exist? You cannot say. Saying is in relative term. In relative world we say yes it exists, or yet yes it does not exist. Even in relative world also you cannot say. If we think deeply, even this world, like 3 scientists this time, last year I think, they were given Nobel Prize to say this world does not exist. I'm not literally saying. You can search 3 scientists. Even day before yesterday I was reading that says this world is like a hologram, or it is like a big hall of mirrors. So even ordinary speaking also, it is difficult to say what it is. So anyway, so this is a new kind of Leela. Why should Buddha be called an atheist? When one realizes Swarupa, the true nature of one's own self, one attains a state that is something between asti, that means is, and nasti, is not. So in between asti and nasti. Narendra, it is a state in which contradictions meet, a combination of hydrogen and oxygen produces cool water, and the same hydrogen and oxygen are used in the oxyhydrogen blowpipe. In that state, both activity and non activity are possible. That is to say, one then performs unselfish action. And later he said also, like he is a karma yogi. Bhagwan Buddhadeva was born as the son of king. No, that was not that. In one place, Swami Vivekananda says that he says, yeah. Let me tell you, in conclusion, a few words about one man who actually carried the teaching of Karma Yoga into practice. That man is Buddha. He is the one man who ever carried this into perfect practice. All the prophets of the world, except Buddha, had external motives to move them to unselfish action. So they also had some motive, but only Buddha had no motive. He is the ideal karma yogi, acting without motive, and the history of humanity shows him to have been the greatest man ever born, beyond compare, the greatest combination of heart and brain that ever existed, the greatest soul power that has ever been manifested. Buddhism is historically the most important religion, historically, not philosophically, because it was the most tremendous religious movement that the world ever saw, the most gigantic spiritual wave ever to burst upon human society. So this is Swami Vivekananda. And Swami Vivekananda had experience of Buddha also. In his young age, when he used to meditate, one day Buddha appeared in his room, and he approached him. As he was approaching, Narendranath, that time Swami Vivekananda, he wonderstruck who this person is, and before anything he entered into him. So Swami Vivekananda, we also think that way, that he is in reincarnation of Bhagwan Buddha, or that quality is there. Actually, that seed is there in all of us. So in that state, both activity and non-activity are possible. So even while active, he is not active, and both are possible in that state. That is to say, one then performs unselfish action. Worldly people who are engrossed in sense objects say that everything exists, asti, but the Mayavadis, the illusionists, say that nothing exists, nasti. The experience of a Buddha is beyond both existence and non-existence. So once it is in between existence and non-existence, and another is beyond. Even one cannot say whether it is existing or non-existing. Master, this existence and non-existence are attributes of Prakriti. When we are in relative world, then we say asti is, or nasti is not. So that is what Sri Ramakrishna said. Prakriti. The reality is beyond both. So this is considered opinion of Sri Ramakrishna. The devotees remained silent a few moments. Master to Narendra, what did Buddha preach? Narendra, he did not discuss the existence or non-existence of God, but he showed compassion for others all his life. A hawk pounced upon a bird and was about to devour it. In order to save that bird, Buddha gave the hawk his own flesh. Okay, so as time is up, so today we are contemplating on the life of Bhagavan Buddha. It's a great life and great teaching. Whatever we can inculcate in our lives, that is better for us. And it is the same dharma, righteousness, that is preached by Bhagavan Buddha. So we pray to him so that he gives us strength to see properly and to meditate and attain the highest nirvana. That means total cessation of our suffering. So with this word, we thank you very much for your presence. Om Niranjanam Nityam Anantarupam Bhaktanukampa Dhrita Vigraham Vai Ishavataram Parameshamidhyam Tamaram Krishnam Shirasa Namamaha Jananim Sharadam Devim Ramakrishnam Jagadgurum Pada Padmi Tayo Sritva Pranamami Muhurmuhu Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tatsat Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.
Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is injury, let me sow pardon. Where there is doubt, let me sow faith. It is in giving that we receive. It is in pardoning that we are pardoned. It is in dying that we are born. That we are born to eternal life. As I walk through the world, looking here, looking there, at the wonders of Maya's illusion, and I try to control all the waves of my mind, and I stumble amidst the confusion. Let me never forget thee. Let me never forget thee. Fill my heart with undying love, and show me the way. Though I start out each day with a strong, solemn vow to remove all the darkness that binds me, and I fall in the clutches of bondage once more, and the playthings of Maya, they blind me. Let me never forget thee. Let me never forget thee. Fill my heart undying love, and show me the way. And whenever the veil is cast over my eyes, and I run to the pleasures in blindness, and wherever I stray, even though miles away, come and show me thy infinite kindness. Lord, let me never forget thee. Let me never forget thee. Fill my heart with undying love, and show me the way. Let me never forget thee. Let me never forget thee. Fill my heart with undying love, and show me the way. You show me the way. Show me the way.
Thank you. Now we will continue our Bhakti Yoga in coming Sundays, and other classes like meditation and Vedanta Sara, Sri Sharda Devi and her divine play will continue as usual. Thank you.